Hello and welcome to the Permaculture Herbalism segment of the Elder Tree podcast. I am your host, Tennille Christensen from Earth Mama, where I teach people how to thrive and get skilled for sustainability. As an educator, kitchen witch, and plant lover, I welcome you to tune in as I interview permaculturalists from around the world. We will learn holistic ways of integrating plants into our homes, gardens, and communities for healing. Together, we will explore the art and science of this regenerative design system and harvest the collective wisdom. Permaculture offers a pathway to empower people to develop their lifestyles and landscapes. So let's discover how to grow and know plants with a purpose. Rupert Faust is the founding member and driving force of the Grounded Permaculture Action Party. His enthusiasm for growing food, community, and culture is highly contagious, and as you will hear in this in-depth interview, we talk about his permaculture journey from graduating university with a Bachelor of Environmental Engineering right through to where he is now with the high-level holistic systems thinker and using company structures to create community and land leases and put on fun action parties. So he is a teacher of a hybrid permaculture design certificate, and you'll hear about that offering in this interview, as well as the Grounded gatherings, which happen annually. This year, it's happening from the 21st to the 27th of September at the High Valley Dawn Permaculture Farm in Yeppoon, in Queensland. So we'll discuss that as well. Tune in and listen to that one. I also just want to add that Herbfest is coming up. So if you're interested, you can head along to Herbfest on Sunday, the 14th of June this year on the Sunshine Coast. Herbfest is all about celebrating our herbal medicine community with the speakers, hands-on activities, 60 stalls, foods, drinks, and more. There will also be a masterclass taught by our very own Taj Klakluna on Monday, June 15th. So for more information, you can check out www.herbfest.com.au. Welcome, Rupert. It is so wonderful to finally have this opportunity to interview you here on the Elder Tree podcast. So thanks again for joining me tonight.
It's my absolute pleasure, Tennille. Thanks for having me.
Can you share with us why permaculture is an important aspect of your life?
Yeah, permaculture is an important aspect of my life, primarily because I've been on this quest for truth and realness in how to live and the information that I hold within my being. And I guess the mainstream world out there has a lot of falsity built into it. And so in my quest for truth, I ended up in the garden because that was like the place where I could test information and theories firsthand and start to actually build a relationship with the world around me, cutting out all middlemen and deception and lies. So essentially that's what got me to permaculture, and I found it to be the most comprehensive framework that encompasses a whole bunch of other frameworks in how we can live a better life on this planet. That's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Amazing. And you came through a university degree in environmental engineering, was it?
Yeah, so I did environmental engineering, but while I was studying that, I had these other parallels going on. So one was music, and that was like my number one priority, to like raise the vibration of consciousness through music. And then I hadn't even thought about starting to grow food yet. And I thought, well, I will apply myself in practical ways with engineering because I was good at maths and physics and stuff like that and building stuff. And so, I ended up steering down the path of environmental engineering and doing music at the same time, trying to figure out how to grow food. And then, yeah, it sort of all eventually came together with the formation of Grounded.
It is a nice symbiotic vessel that you have there with all of the fun things and the science of life and raising vibration through music and through the earth care aspect and people care aspect. So it'd be great to delve into all aspects of that, because I know that there's even micro businesses within that and the
Yeah.
not-for-profit model. But first, I would love to know what planted the seed for permaculture. So you're like in this university realm and you're activating many parts of your brain with the multitude of topics that you're studying and practicing.
And the psychedelics definitely had an influence on that as well.
Yep.
As
Mind
so many
expansion.
university students do. Yeah. Well, I guess before permaculture was this desire to grow food and figure out how to grow my own food. And that was probably like 07, 08. 08 was when I first started actually trying to garden. And I didn't actually catch on to permaculture as a concept probably to like 2012. I think around then just kept hearing about it, hearing it pop up. I knew about Northey Street City Farm, but in Brisbane, but never went. And because like growing food was just like a little side experiment. Music was number one priority, and then doing engineering, I guess, as second. But yeah, I guess when I started realizing that permaculture was more than organic gardening, essentially, like it just kept popping up, and I just gave it a bit more time, a bit of time, and I was like, wow, this thing's really big. And then the thing that really anchored it for me was when I saw the Polish ambassador do his permaculture action tour in 2014. And then that's when I realized how it could all come together. And I was like, oh, that's what I got to do here. And I have this unique combination of things. I'm the guy that has to do that here. And so that's when I decided to go all in on permaculture, tied with this idea of grounded and bringing people together to care for the earth and grow food.
Love it. And
Yeah.
who did you study with when you
I
jumped
did
in?
Well, as so many people do when you start Googling, this is in 2015, 2014, you start Googling food forests, because I was like, I decided to move out to my parents' block, or the property that I grew up on, and start to grow this food forest, which is where we hosted the first gathering. I was searching food forest in 2015, and the only thing I could find was Jeff Lawton. And so I just started going down this Jeff Lawton rabbit hole. Ended up at his farm woofing for a month because I didn't really want to pay for any courses. And I did it while he had an earthworks course going on. Met some really cool people, decided to go back and do my PDC there 2016. I thought, if I'm going all in on this permaculture thing, I have to do the PDC. It's kind of like the compulsory initiation nearly that everyone needs to do.
Definitely an initiation. Yep.
In whatever form, with whoever you do it. And so that's what I did. Did my PDC at Jeff Lawton's farm, Zaytuna Farm, January 2016.
Great. So that happened 2016. And then when did Grounded happen? Like, tell us about the first Grounded experience on your parents' property.
Here's another freaky Grounded experience before it got to the property.
Okay.
So it was 2015. I was on the sabbatical. I spent time at Jeff's. And towards the end of 2015, I'm like, how am I going to bring this all together? How am I going to bring it all together? And it was, I remember distinctly, just after Island Vibes 2015. I was out there on the property. How am I going to get people over here? I just built some swales, plant trees, have a party. And then this idea, Grounded, came to me. It was like, bam. And I just like mapped out this little memorandum, I guess, and started recruiting people and got a logo done up and stuff like this. And so when I went and did my PDC, with Jeff in January 2016, and I've like got the grounded idea. I've got a little poster saying it's going to happen in April 2016, and Jeff had just relaunched his branding as well, and we both had this like little green G as our logo. It was very, very similar. That was pretty funny to see him and me have the same thing at the same time. Back then, very similar G logos. Anyway, that was pretty funny. And yeah, just I thought if, and this is a thing, I think a big thing, realization that brings people from the general environmental movement or activist movement into permaculture. And then you go, oh, I just need to do something. I need to do something, whatever I have capacity to do right now, even if it's in my own backyard, rather than trying to demand everyone else change. If I want to change the world, I have to start in my own backyard. So that's where I started, right? Just at wherever I could. I literally went back to my childhood backyard and started there.
I think that's a theme for many people when you walk with your permy goggles out of your PDC, or fresh and inspired and motivated and in that abundance thinking modality. It's like, all right, rentals, gardens in pots, or
you're very limited
backyard.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to find somewhere we can move that, it's that transition from pots and herbs and little veggies in a rental to actually growing trees in a food forest. More permanence, permaculture.
That's it. And food forestry comes up in pretty much every conversation we have here, for good reason.
Yeah.
But please, let's dive into Grounded. Tell us all about it. Have we ever heard of this before, and we've never been to an event? Can you entice us with?
Well, it's pretty much spelt out in the name. Grounded Permaculture Action Party, Inc. So it's very down to earth. It's very connected to the earth. It's a permaculture action party. So we have obviously there's the broad definition of permaculture. Action being this focus of like when we come together, we're doing things and getting things done, and we're changing and improving the landscape and facilities around us to create that permanence and a better world. And it's a party in this play on words because it's come out of festival culture, and it's it's the political party that you'll never see in politics. Yeah.
Yes. Actually making a change in the world.
So the idea was really like that little seed was just to get people together, plant trees, share food, create that tribal village ancestral experience that was my soul was yearning for. And the first one we had, it was like I tried to do this crowdfunding campaign. We had a really cool video. The budget was going to be 30 grand. The Hare Krishnas were going to cater it. It was all lined up, but we only got 7 grand, and we had it set up so that if you didn't get the full amount, didn't get any of it. But what I did get was a bunch of email addresses and people that were willing to give us money. So I publicly cancelled it because I had council kind of sniffing around as well. I just said, I'm not going to do it now, and got everyone's email addresses and just messaged everyone and said, hey, I'm still going to do this. Do you want to come? And a whole bunch of people were keen. So about 100 or 120 came to the first one. And yeah, it was a pretty special event. Good, solid crew there. I like to say that there was 5 festival directors at that first one, even though it was 100 people. And yeah, it was good times. And it seeded this idea of bringing more permaculture action to parties, right? So it's started happening in Earth Frequency, started happening in Island Vibe through this invite process, and then other little enterprises like compost toilets, because the first Grounded, I prioritized compost toilets over decor. There was no decor, nothing pretty at all. It was literally just compost toilets and an army tent. That was our facilities. So it kind of just grew from that. And the funny thing is, around 2012, I started a record label, a business out of passion, and it didn't really kind of get the traction that I guess I wanted out of it. And I left me with this belief that I didn't want to start another business based on my passion. So I kind of left this grounded thing to the side. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make it my number one hustle. And I just kind of freelanced and did other things in the background, because at the same time I stopped saying yes to corporate work, essentially, and would only work for myself. So that was like 2015, 2016. And so the grounded things started growing through there. We became a not-for-profit in 2017. And but then slowly but surely it's become my number one thing. All my income is derived from it and through it. And there's probably half a dozen to a dozen that receive a good portion of theirs through it as well. And plus lots of others, like through all of our activities. But yeah, it's did about 370,000 last financial year and 470 the year before that. So it's kind of getting up there, and there is definitely a lot of friction that comes up every now and again with this idea of a not-for-profit being run like a business. Because people come into it with certain ideas of how a not-for-profit should be run, essentially, and don't like how this one runs. And we make some changes or accommodations, but sometimes it's not enough, because I guess they just have a different belief of how it should be run. But the funny thing with not-for-profits is that they can be run in so many ways. And there's many different cool organizations out there that use the not-for-profit structure and do lots of cool things. Like Woodford, for example, Woodfordia Inc. is the same legal structure as us.
Absolutely. And I love to reframe it as a for benefit. So
Yep.
we're using a model that incorporates the basis of community, an output that supports community or land or whatever our mission is. And why?
Totally.
It's for benefit, and also people need to get paid for their skills and their efforts and time,
Yeah.
expertise.
Absolutely. I guess, I really had to look at this over the years. And I think a big part of it, actually, that I realized when I made that decision to just stop doing the corporate work and just freelance for myself, I only wanted to work with people that I liked, and I wanted to build relationships with people and long-term working relationships. And I wanted my business dealings with them to be transparent, essentially. And the not-for-profit kind of provides that, because it has to be transparent with everyone that's involved in every activity, and then with other members through the membership. I kind of like that approach.
Yeah,
Just
it's
in terms of
definitely.
working, because I'd rather work with people I like.
Yes, makes life much more enjoyable.
Totally.
And so you're working with people you like now, and you're doing the work with your
Yeah.
hands that you love. So these festivals, Grounded, people come camp, they're planting trees. Can you talk us through what the activities are that people are doing, and the festival vibe that one would experience if they've never stepped into a permaculture action party before?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's not a festival. I don't really even like to use the word, but it definitely has definitely a celebration, has a festive vibe. There's a few key things that are really important in every grounded event. One is that there's people eat together. And we've sized it so that we can all eat together in terms of it being created as a village. So working with Dunbar's number, maximum or around 150, can kind of push it up to 250. Once you get to 300 or above, the dynamics of a group or a gathering changes, and you're no longer in a tribal setting and tribal experience. And so working with that number and then getting everyone feeding and eating the same thing at the same time. And then over that, like at that time, that was what was important. And then what I realized after a few years, as we integrated principles from other events very similar, like rainbow gatherings specifically, I've never been to one, but a lot of key members have. And the idea of food circles and offering songs and prayer and all the, the rainbow songs come into that, but we don't let it get too rainbowy. Like it's really beautiful, and we keep it pretty grounded. And so that's a really important aspect. There's usually some sort of ceremonial fire thing, or a hungy or a cup murray we've done at every grounded gathering. Music, bands, DJs, all the good stuff. And, good people, I guess. There's usually always chai there. It's very family friendly, lots of kids. There's bush school and kids activities. It's kind of just, I guess, obviously, because I created the dream kind of gathering and setting that I think is important, I guess, to have. And then another key thing that we got to do, as that's a part of it, is doing the permaculture action. So that's planting trees or doing some action, and we sort of rally everybody up into a big, like a big check-in circle, sometimes like 100 people in these circles. Go around, get everyone like G'd up, have maybe like 6 to 10 projects with, people in high-vis vests going, yeah, I'm going to do this, and we all meet, and then you've got groups of 10 people with a lead and a couple other people. So you get a lot of work done, but it doesn't feel like work. Everybody's just like chatting and having fun, and it's recreating that ancestral experience, because it's programmed into our biology and our DNA. For so long, we were living like that. And some people call it a dream. It's more like a memory. And when we recreate that, like, this idea of work changes completely, right? We're just doing stuff, and you do stuff, and then you stop and you have a chat, and then you keep doing stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, the tribe and the village is operating like a little hive. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. That's why I keep trying to recreate it.
Yeah, it's humming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just did an earth build out on our property with a whole bunch of people. Free workshop, everyone come, bottle and door earth, and everyone was saying the same thing. This feels so good.
It's so good.
We're doing this for somebody to move into and have their baby, that feels even better. Like, there's purpose, and
amazing.
It's
that's right.
So please tell me about the land in which you're all working towards and regenerating. Are you changing locations each time, or are you working towards a bigger vision there?
Good question. So it started, in my mother's property, the family property. Kind of outgrew that, and I basically came up with this idea of a regenerative living hub, because the events were moving around and we were spreading the love. But then people were like, hey, we should really get a base. If we're a permaculture party, we need a permanent base. Like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We're all used to paying rent. I used to run share houses in the city when I was living in the city for 10 years. So I was like, I could just run like a rural property, like a share house. And we could get everyone there. We could rent somewhere really cool, and then get that owner to reinvest some of the money in a shared vision. Or a vision that we can get on board with. And so, I came up with this idea. I thought I could do it at the family property. I thought it was the perfect fit, but it wasn't. And the beauty was, it was a system that I knew I could copy and repeat. So I said, all right, well, let's go look for somewhere else. Spent 3 months like aggressively looking for something and got nothing, and then let it go for 6 months. And then 6 months later, it just popped up. Like, Dig found it on Facebook Marketplace and maybe on Gumtree. It was just an ad for one of the houses to rent on this property it's at Natural Bridge. It was known as Famunity at the time. Had its own community story from when the current owner bought it in 2011 through till then. But by the time we got here and saw that ad, he was just like, I've given up on community. Now I'm just renting houses and raising kids. And there was 3 council approved houses on the property, and like 1 unapproved cabin. And we just like, all right, started renting the house. I said, that's fine. I told him my idea, and he said, I've had so many hippies come through with their big ideas. It's all not worked. Now I'm just renting houses. And I said, that's okay. My model is based on renting. I'll rent the house and let's just start building the relationship. And it's just grown from there. And he sort of stepped back over the years as COVID happened. He kind of didn't want anything to do with Australia and sort of really stepped back. And then after a year or two of that, he stated his intentions to sell. He wanted to sell, but liked what we were doing and wanted to give us a chance to buy it. So we put together like another campaign to raise money. Got a few people on board, but it didn't raise anywhere near enough. And then sort of 6 months later, he came back and said, look, Roops, I like what you're doing, but this pitch and angle for the company is a bit too idealistic. If you had more of a shit hits the fan prepper focus, I'd be on board. I'd be investor number one. I said, well, I've already got a few on board, but let's do it. I considered it, and I thought to myself, well, with the permaculture stuff, I've never really focused on the system collapse element of it as a prepping mechanism. And I sat with it for a bit, and I was like, oh, could I really start talking about this and trying to raise money on this idea of the shit's going to hit the fan and you better start preparing, blah, 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 blah. Like, I kind of had this, it's a bit fear thing. And then I was like, actually, that is my core motivation. That's my core motivation. And, his suggestions were the lifestyle benefits for investors on top of the returns for leasing the property out would be, they have access to storage here, know that if shit ever goes down, there's like an emergency protocol where they can all just come, not kicking everyone out that's renting, but come and set up camp in the creek flat if something really crazy was to happen. Know that they've got that backdoor exit. And he said, that's kind of what I want. And so if it was that, I'd be on board with the company model. And so we tweaked it. And so that's kind of where we're at now. We're still not anywhere near the amount that we need, but we've got a good crew on of investors, kind of like a seed investors, you might say. And I have this feeling and a sense that when this next crisis hits, the next thing that freaks everyone out, people will want to do what happened at COVID, where they're going to want to get land and they'll be rushing, and so many communities sprung up and they all failed because everyone rushed in, no experience or plan. And so we'll be ready. We'll say, hey guys, like, look what we got here. We've got it running for this many years. This is how it works. This is how we're going to plans for the future. That's how it will happen. So currently that's kind of where we're at. And we're actually going through a process of getting a DA as well, or getting that ready, which would basically formalize all of the future plans for the property, which kind of gives us that solid backing with investors. And we're kind of just experiencing that pressure out from outside. We've delayed it as long as we can. So we're just now following through with that. I remember in these moments that all of this is way bigger than me. Like, I came here with this idea or a dream, and then there was some version of it that wasn't quite working, but then I blended that story with my story, and everyone else here is doing the same thing. And I really believe that there's good forces in the world that are conspiring to make these cool things happen. Just like somehow magically I found the place and ended up here, and now we lease and manage it, and it really is becoming a hub, because not only does the property or the site operate as its own enterprise, I guess, or its own business. It's a pretty big business. It's like our base, because we look after all of the, like most of the neighboring properties in some capacity. We've planted 15,000 trees in our valley, all revegetation, bush revegetation, like through essentially government contracts. And so it's all just this hive of activity, that we actually have this base. We don't have to go very far. It's just all here in this valley. It's just amazing. I feel so blessed every day. I'm just like, wow, I'm so lucky.
where you're meant to be. You landed. Yeah, sometimes we just have to surrender and allow divine timing to to pick up that antenna of dreaming that we're putting out there
Yeah,
to
exactly.
align
And this
with the
is
people and the places.
exactly. And when this comes through, it should work. It will outlive me and
Mm.
even my kids. I'm aiming for some sort of structure and system that will do that.
Yes, this is a really inspiring conversation because it's a model that could be templated and replicated for people who are asking and wanting this in many places as well. And I've found through just the design and consultation work we've done, going to people's properties, they have lots of land, they want community, but they don't know how to hold community. And there are complexities to it. And they've been burnt out trying in
Yeah,
different
yep,
ways. And
yep.
so the organization and the structure to come together and to do that in a good way. And it takes, governance and making hard decisions and doing the serious things like DAs and
Yeah.
crossing T's and dotting I's. And I quite often have a laugh at where my permaculture journey's taken me as well, in terms of I want to be working with the plants and in community, but ending up in these roles where it's like writing charters and
Yeah.
holding sociocracy and having governance conversations constantly. It's wild but
It
necessary.
is, it is, it is wild. And like, as I'm in the thick of it right now doing this DA stuff, which, I don't, a large part of me doesn't want to do. And because I started grounded in a way and I've intentionally operated in a way so I don't need permission from any authority. Like, I make an agreement with someone who's a custodian of land and then we do stuff with them. Like, that's just how it is. But this process, it's like, the activities are getting there's a lot of stuff going on and it just keeps growing. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what we have to do. This is how I frame. This is what I have to do to pay off the mafia, to leave me alone
Mm.
so that we can continue to do what we intend to do. And then that's what we'll do. And so I just remind myself that's the higher priority. So that's why I'm doing it in service to the grander vision. So it doesn't matter. Even though I avoided it for so long, I'm like, it's right here now. I can't ignore it. I'm getting, these threatening letters from council. Show cause notice was the latest one, and to me personally. But and the funny thing is, it's just naturally sorted itself out too. I just shared that letter with the board. Feels like, let's have a call. He recommends his town planner that he used, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, he sent an email to introduce you. 10 minutes later, that consultant's called me saying he's read the letter and this is what he recommends doing. I was like, wow, you're good. And so, yeah, it's just all naturally flowing in the right timing. And as long as I address what's right there in front of me and sort of, even no matter how big it is or how much I don't want to do it, it just keeps clearing the path and the energy for this thing to grow and set roots in and hold structure and form, which is, the grounded organization and the idea of a regenerative living hub. And then, this company structure, which is kind of on the side but hasn't fully activated yet. Yes, just so we can do this thing of, just being on land and growing food.
Yep.
and building community, which I think is really important as well. That's kind of like my core motto: get on land, grow food, and build community.
Love it. I'm so aligned to that. And I feel like that's what we're doing up here in the north. So it'd be good to collaborate with you guys at Grounded because we've got very similar.
There could be something possible because Grounded is being pulled north. We're actually set the intention and plans to do Grounded Gathering. Oh, this is maybe the first time anyone's going to hear it online. Grounded Gathering 2026 at High Valley Dawn in Yeppoon.
Hey, This is a quick interlude to say thanks for being one of our Elder Tree podcast listeners and to let you know that we need your support. For the past 3 years, we have produced over 150 episodes free to anyone who wants to listen worldwide. Our team of presenters do this on a volunteer basis. And as much as we love doing it and will continue to do it, one way that you could really fuel us is by buying us a cuppa. You can find that via the link in our podcast description, and it's a way for us to really be supported by our community and to keep on doing this really important and great work. Thanks so much. Back to the episode.
I do like the company model in that I guess the idea is, technically if it all went really bad, the land could be sold. But the idea to keep it working well is that the company would hold the land. And now one of the investors has just said, actually, it's better if I want to put my self-managed super fund in it, if the land is held in the trust. Mm-hmm. But then the trust, but then the company is the 100% shareholder in the trust, and then everyone has shares in the company, and people can sell those shares in the company whenever they want to get out. But the idea is that the company is an asset holding company, and it holds assets on behalf of its shareholders and generates returns for those assets. And those assets are like rural land, productive land where you can get on land, grow food and build community, land that meets that criteria and has a business case around it that can be leased out. So the company holds the land and then issues a lease to someone who's basically pitches for it and says, hey, I've got the best experience. This is what I'm going to do with it. This is how I'm going to look after it to these regenerative standards that the company sets, essentially. And then so they have then the lease on it. And you can run 5-10 year leases. If they're really good, you can go longer. And then it gives each property the flexibility to then have its own structure in terms of the leaseholders and how they run it. So one might be a working farm that's run by someone under a company structure. This one here is leased by Grounded, which is the not-for-profit. And someone else might have their not-for-profit that they want to lease another land. But the company essentially pools capital and then leverages that just to keep acquiring more sites. It's, I think, a really good model, because when you have the sort of lease, someone has to pay a lease, which means then people sort of have to pay rent, or there has to be income derived. It makes the land work. Like, it makes the people on the land make the land work for it to be productive, to be able to generate the cash flow. So that's kind of a key part of it, because then that provides livelihood for people. And it's not, because that's always a big question about communities, like where's the livelihood? So I guess we're kind of aiming for something that does draw influence from the sort of, nowhere near as productive or ruthless as the Joel Salatin, nowhere near as culty as like the Hare Krishnas, but it's something that does have a lot of economic activity around it, which then attracts people, and you can attract and retain people around that, and then they have the opportunity to express themselves. Like, I imagine it's where people can come and they're just being themselves, but then it actually fits within a larger organization and structure. And we're getting there. Like, it takes a long time, but the longer you build those relationships with people and you keep doing the same things become automatic and it flows. And we're getting really good. Like, we host our own things here on the Creek Flat, but other crews come in and we'll take care of a lot of the things, like structures and spaces and traffic and camp. Like, it's good and really important, I think, to have the economic activity for livelihood, which then builds community.
Yeah, and you can stay there and you don't have to leave and work for the man somewhere else. It's
a big thing. And like I said before, I've got I rarely have to leave this valley because all my work is in the valley.
Yes, living the dream.
Yeah.
Well, that was a really lovely deep dive into the bigger vision of Grounded and what's emerging from that in terms of collaborating with many other people, and I can see how that model, yeah, that works to be able to replicate that on other land parcels as well within that company structure.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is if as the company grows, it will have sites where people have opportunity to lease, but people can also just like copy or remix our model because like some people don't like it and they're like, well, it's like this is just one version of community.
Mm.
If it doesn't work for you, then copy it or change it, remix it into something that does, because that's kind of what we've done, is just remixing little bits and pieces to make something work.
For your context.
Exactly.
Mm. Beautiful. So, with all of that, let's
Yeah.
come down to the plants. So,
The
how are
plants.
you in your life right now integrating plants, maybe from a nutritional or a herbalism perspective?
Yeah, so I thought about this, and my initial thought was like, I'm not that into the herbs, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, actually, there is some key ones that I am big on, actually. And ginger was the one that I was really wanted to talk about, and then having this relationship with it where now I'm growing more than I know what to do with, too much that I know what to do with, and I make lots of ginger beer, and ginger beer has really helped. Like basically, I drink that instead of alcohol. And when I started making it like 10, 12, 13 even years ago, I started making it with just the yeast packets. It was, yeah, to stop drinking bought stuff. And yeah, when I figured out you could just do it with sugar and water, and it was very low alcohol, I was like, oh my God, this is the way to do it. It's so simple, and I know exactly what's going into it. And yeah, I can drink a lot of it, and it's healthy. It just, yeah. So that's kind of my thing, and I love it. It's just I'm very fortunate to live in country that just it's very easy to grow ginger. Like
Mm.
it's a little bit too easy,
Mm.
and it grows really well. And now I just don't know what to do with it.
Is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
We're like that with turmeric here. The
Oh yeah.
I have to
Turmeric
be,
we've got lots of too.
yeah. But the ginger's my favorite. I'm fighting the animals, or the animals are taking it quicker than
Really,
we can harvest it. Yeah, I
ginger.
mean, do you guys have Warwin, like bush turkeys where you live?
Yeah, but they don't touch the ginger.
Oh, they smash our ginger.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've only had the turkeys come in like the last year, right? But actually has stopped coming into my garden recently, but it came in at the end of winter and over winter, and there's a few of them that have all encroached from the forest. Like, well, the first 3-4 years there was no turkeys, and then maybe 2 years ago I saw the first one. I was like, oh no, this is not
They
good.
told their friends.
And they've sort of slowly moved in, but they go for our taro. Like
Yeah.
that's the other thing I love growing, but it's not really a herb. Taro and ginger are my two favorites, and they grow really well together. But they just started smashing all the taro. I guess if the taro is right next to the ginger, they just go for that instead.
Yeah, they definitely tell us when they've reached their complex sugars. Like they'll go for our taro, our sweet potato, and our ginger when it's like ripe and ready to harvest. So,
Wow.
thank you, Wawins. We get out there and we have to do a mass harvest and get it all up before they destroy it,
Yeah,
even with a
wow.
kelpie on site.
I had no idea. I just thought ginger was just like nothing touched it.
Yeah,
That's why
they
I was
leave the
loving it so
turmeric
much.
alone.
They leave the turmeric alone. Yeah, wow. It's just I've got so much ginger and taro, and I feel like it's so easy to grow. It's just good carbs. The taro is just good carbs, and then the ginger is my ginger beer. And it's like if I have ginger beer, my taro, and meat, I'm
You're a happy
like
man.
I'm pretty much that's like Core things taken care of.
Don't worry about anything else in the food forest. Just
Yeah. No,
uh,
everything else is a bonus. That's like the staples.
so, what is your favorite thing to be doing at a grounded gathering?
Oh, I think the other thing that I really love doing is playing music and getting people dancing. I've always hosted parties. Like I started when I was 12, and so yeah, that's really at the core of it all as well.
And you're teaching PDCs as well, aren't you? Do you have an online permaculture design course?
With Reveal Saw, yeah. So Rev and I do this hybrid PDC. It's 3 months online. This is the second year we did it. Last year we did it as 6 months, one lesson per week. It was a little bit too long, and the prac was halfway through. And this year we did 2 lessons per week over a 13-week period, and that was really good. It was really tight, really high engagement, and then the prac was about 3 weeks after that finished, and that gave everyone time. I just kept running the Q&As throughout 3 weeks, and over half the students did their designs, which is a massive improvement on the year before, and actually presented designs. And, because I don't know about you if you've done online ones, but when you're doing the in-person one, it's pretty easy to get everyone to do it because you've got their full and complete attention, and there's a set time, and you just got to do something in that time. When it's done, it's done.
No other distractions.
Yeah, but when it's online, there's a another layer of self-initiative required, and the criteria, I guess, that we have for our PDC is probably higher than a lot of them, I would say. Like the expectation is that they produce a Google map with contours and a boundary and a sector analysis and a zone map, and then all of their kind of existing stuff and proposed stuff, what their kind of ideas, and being able to present that. And it was actually great. Like we actually did. I was really impressed this year with everyone's designs and presentations, and I was like, it was that real beautiful moment of like, oh my gosh, like they're all doing the things that I showed them to do. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, and then they all came out for the prac, and then those who hadn't done it online did it at the prac.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
it was really good, and probably the most effective way to deliver a PDC, I believe, in my opinion, in this current day and age, because doing the content online allows you to get really good with the theory and allows people to listen back and have proper presentations, and they have lifetime access to it, and they can download the PDFs and revisit, rather
Yeah.
than in a live PDC, you're just like, and you just can't keep it all going. So that's like leveraging the internet and the digital age for that information overload, or to circumnavigate that, what can happen in a 2-week PDC. But in a 2-week PDC, you get that immersion and the relationships and the experience of doing
Community
things together.
experience. Yeah.
So yeah, we put the two together, and 4 days of practical training, and then this 13-week online course, and so it's working really good. We're going to do it again next year, pretty much the same format. I think this is probably the first time I say it anywhere online too. We're also like, the idea is to break up some of the modules and offer them as mini courses to get people up the value ladder, right? You start with little free PDFs, and then it might be a micro course or a midpoint thing, and then they could go for the
Taste
PDC.
Yeah.
And it's really good content. And Reveal is next level. He does the ecosystems module, and he also did the earth sciences module this year. Yeah, just really good material. And we revisit it every year, so it gets freshened up, and we're always, making sure we're presenting the best version based on our knowledge and understanding.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. So
Love it.
you are a really busy man running PDCs. You've got how many? You do Grounded once a year, and then are you doing these events as well as doing consultations and designs? Like, what does the life of Rupert look like? Because you
don't really do that many consultations and designs.
Okay.
and I had a little flurry of it a few years ago, actually, but it's kind of dropped off. And the main activity pretty much is this property. That takes, like, that's a fair bit of activity. We've got 15 people that live here, and lots of things happening on the creek flat every other weekend. And then we've got all these tree planting jobs, and the tree planting jobs require maintenance.
Yeah.
So we've got the maintenance for these jobs for 3 or 5 years. And so, yeah, we've got like a crew that's running most of the week. And apart from that, I just do any of the necessary paperwork, whether it's the finances or whether it's doing the DA stuff or writing reports. I just do whatever I need to do to keep the thing going. I really do enjoy the physical work, so I always try and get out, do the physical, get up early, do some computer admin strategy stuff, go out, do the physical work. I only eat once a day in the optimum routine, so it's just like do all that and then work until lunch or just after, and then we kind of knock off because it gets hot and we work hard, and we do that, and then we all get the afternoon to sort of take care of our other things of life. It's a really good lifestyle. So
bringing it back to the plants again, what are you harvesting from the garden? What does Rupert eat from his food forest?
So pretty much on that optimum diet of one meal a day, it's a bulletproof coffee in the morning. That's not from the food forest. And then, but during the day, I will eat and snack on any fruit that I find.
Yep.
And that could involve berries have been on lately, native raspberries and mulberries of all the kinds. Bananas are always on. Passion fruits go through seasons. Pineapples pop up every now and again. We've got all the citrus, so all the fruits, and avocados as well. Then as the afternoon comes in, pretty much my ideal meal is going to be some sort of meat, usually beef, and I source my beef locally or through the family, and the taro. And I've got cabbage and sauerkraut going on at the moment, so that's pretty good. Carrots, like just kind of whatever veggies to go with it. It's a pretty simple life, but I just find when I can eat like that, I can feel my whole vibration of being more attuned to everything around me, because I'm literally consuming things that are produced around me. I can't be, it's like more connected, more grounded.
It's the ultimate.
It is.
And if you haven't experienced that, then you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of what I aim for in this life.
And a homemade ginger beer to knock off.
Yeah, that's exactly part of it as well.
Well, thank you for walking us through how permaculture came into your life and your history, the grounded action parties, what that looks like, why people would want to come and experience all of that, how to stay grounded. I think you've talked through your favorite drinks, how you eat, and the bigger vision of what you're doing, and I really appreciate it. It's great for people to tune in and listen, and they'll have access to all of the links, so to your teaching, your permaculture design course, and how to get a ticket and come to Grounded. Is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners before we say goodbye today?
If you feel the call and that voice inside is getting louder and it won't leave you alone, and it's saying get on land, grow food, build community, all I can say is just keep listening to that voice and taking the necessary steps towards that, because I think it's not only rewarding in so many ways, as it's like it soothes this ancestral yearn, it's also going to be critical for survival in the future.
Yeah. be proactive.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And if you want a piece of paradise to come and land when shit hits the fan, who do you call?
Yes, that's right. We've got the options. That's the idea.
Love it. Thanks, Rupert.
Through these conversations and through the Elder Tree Patreon community, together we are sowing the seeds for an education centre and healing sanctuary. You can unlock access to our treasure trove of wisdom via our Patreon, so you can do that in the show notes below or from our website. Please subscribe now and leave us a review. It really helps the bots share our podcast with the world, and your support ensures that this podcast and our vision can thrive. To grow them is to know them is to use them is to love them, and then happily herbs become your way of life. May you be blessed with good health and many plants.